everybody. So glad that you're here this morning. Hey, my name's Jeff Mile. I'm an agent here at the office. And Chuck and Angela asked me to come this morning and in their absence to fill in for them and to do some sharing with you. Are you about to scooch out? You go right
Sorry,
ahead.
guys. Have a great day.
Okay. Totally get it. You don't want to stay. That's
no,
cool.
I usually do.
That's
I
awesome.
always do. I love this.
No, really, it's cool. Yes. Yeah, thanks. Anybody else want to go? This is a great time. All right. Yes. Yeah. Very funny back there. Yeah. So, I'm thrilled to be here today with you. Real humbled, honestly, just to have the opportunity to come and to share with you and to spend a little time with you. One of the things that I love about our office and about our brokerage is the fact that there's a very family-oriented culture here, and I love getting to know new people. There's so many of us. So many faces. In fact, I probably don't recognize 80% of you who are here right now, but just the opportunity to meet you and to connect with you is huge. So before we get going, I want to ask you just to do something just for fun, in case you don't know anybody else in here either. Just get up for a minute. Don't use this as a chance to escape. Lisa Funk, I see you in the back, and I'll know if you're gone, right? But just take an opportunity just for like 2 minutes, seriously. Walk around, find somebody you don't know, introduce yourself to somebody real quick. And that'll give me a second just to make sure that I'm in front of the camera where I should be and ready to go, all right? And just meet somebody, because I want to meet you guys too, all right? So ready, on your mark, get set, go. Do it, quick.
Jeff, you're all good.
What?
Right there. That's your max.
How far this way?
That's even that too.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So don't go too far. Don't.
Awesome.
Hi, meet you. I'm a jack of all trades. She designed my logo for my team. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. It is beautiful. Yeah, you do a lot of work. That's what I do. Amongst other things, I guess. I love your necklace. Oh, thank you. It does. Oh, I love like. I have one, but it's silver. She got it for my birthday.
You will today. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Cool. Enough of that.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, so for just a minute, I wanted to just share with you a little bit about who I am so that you know who this weird guy is standing in front of you talking. I grew up here in Arizona for the most part, most of my life. My wife and I grew up in Yuma, and we lived just a couple of blocks from each other. Went to grade school there and junior high and high school there. Went to college in Southern California, and have spent most of my life living in the Southwest. And I joined Revelation almost just about 4 years ago. So I've been here with the brokerage for 4 years. But previous to that, for 20 years, I was in vocational pastoral ministry. So I spent 10 years as a student pastor and then 10 years as the lead pastor of a church. And my background is in organizational leadership. And so for 20 years, I've just spent all of my time studying leadership, organizations, businesses, building them, growing them, leading them, all of that stuff. So that's really where my passion and my heart is. And when I left ministry and went into real estate, I carried all of that stuff with me into real estate and into the building of my own business in this field and in this culture that we work in. I never worked in the regular marketplace like this. I worked in the nonprofit sector, obviously in the church for a long time, but never in a sales industry, focused and intensive environment like real estate is. And so there was a ton for me to learn. And I say that and I share all that with you today because I am here with you as a fellow sojourner in this building of business and having the mindset and the heart and the passion to do that. So I got a little cup of stuff that I want to just pour today into you. It's not a lot. And in humility, I would say probably what I'm going to say to you today is not going to be real life-changing or impacting or anything like that. I just hope that it's something that will help you and help your business. Maybe it just gives you that one extra thing you need, or that little extra piece of whatever it is that you need to take your business to the next level. That's part of what we're doing here at Revelation. That's part of the culture. That's part of the drive of who we are here as a company, is to help one another to grow professionally. And so I just appreciate the opportunity to come and to be with you guys today. And what I want to talk about is goals. And very specifically, the reason I want to talk about it is because it's something for me in business, and it's something for me in leadership that often I see gets sort of shoved aside or forgotten about completely altogether. And so in the context of what I want to deal with and just sort of want to process through with you today is just your goals. But before we start, I want to do a little quick exercise with you, all right? And I want to ask you, just whatever posture works for you. Maybe it's closing your eyes, putting your head in your lap, putting your head on the desk, whatever it is. I want you to take a minute and think clearly about where it is that you want to be with this business. Maybe it's where you want to be in life. Maybe it's where you want to be in your marriage. Maybe it's where you want to be with your family. And so I just want to give you just a few seconds. So I'll stop talking for about 30 seconds. And I just want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think, put that picture, that vision, that image, whatever it is that's in your heart and in your mind about where it is that you want to be, all right? So just envision that for a minute. All right, you got it? Got that picture in your mind? Is it clear? Okay, so here's what I want to talk about: goals. The crux of the matter for us today is that the single greatest thing from you achieving that vision, that picture, whatever that is a lack of clearly defined, very specific goals that you are looking at, watching, and carefully guarding over and putting into practice and putting into motion on a daily and a weekly and a monthly and a yearly basis. One of the things that's keeping you from getting there, wherever that is: I want to have this kind of family, I want to have this kind of business, I want to have this much money in the bank, this is what I envision. The single greatest thing keeping you from getting from here, wherever here is right now for you and your life and your business, to that point, from here to there, is a lack of goals that will specifically and strategically help you get to that point. Now, here's the rub, right? It's not that I'm going to talk about goals today and you're going to be like, oh, mind blown, right? You probably already understand all of the concepts and all of the ideas that I'm just going to lay out for us in this little short period of time today. The rub, like the crux of the matter, is not in understanding the principle, it's in the application of the principle. It's in actually taking the information, taking the concepts and the principles and putting them into motion and putting them into action into your life today. So I want to talk about not just the principles, but really focus hard on the application of it today for you, right? So keep that picture, that image, that vision in your mind as we go through all this stuff. Goals are something that typically is talked about at the end of the year. But the reason I wanted to bring it up today is because this week marks the end of the first quarter, right? So you're ending the first quarter, and next week you're going to start the second quarter of your year. And my guess is that some of you probably set some goals out at the beginning of the year. This is what you wanted to do. This is what you wanted to accomplish. This is how many transactions you wanted to do. How many of you wrote down some goals, put some things down on paper that you specifically wanted to do? Don't be ashamed. Okay, awesome. Very cool. Share a couple of those with them. Just spit them out, right? No condemnation, umbrella of mercy, right? Just throw them out there. What did you want to do?
Yeah, exactly.
By the end of this quarter, I wanted to have at least $10,000 saved up for my fiance's wedding, and we accomplished that. So.
Nice. Man, you got it. So you already got it done. Sweet. Very cool. Excellent. What else? What else did you want to do?
Okay, so this is super personal, but I wanted to lose 10 pounds, and I have lost 4. So, I mean, I wanted to lose 10 pounds in like by summertime, you know, summer body. But I've lost 4. So that's my goal that I think.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Awesome. Good. What else? Business, personal, life. What else? All right.
This is kind of lame.
Okay. No, there's no lame goal, Martha.
But I'll wait till you hear it. I really wanted to plant a garden in my backyard.
I love that.
And I did it this weekend.
You did it. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Lisa.
I have a consistent goal of more water, less wine. I'm still
Okay.
struggling.
Okay. Still struggling with it. Okay. All right. Good. Good. I started the year with a bunch of goals, right? Not too many, not too few, but some very specific, very laid out goals, right? A lot of us do it. We want to accomplish something. The new year's a great time to do it. We sort of lay it out. But then come January, come February, come March, come the end of the first quarter, a lot of that stuff gets pushed to the side, right? So the dream of whatever it is that you have, the weight loss, the increased income, the wedding planning, whatever it is that we're going to do, it's easy to get it set aside. Well, that's what happens. That's why I want to talk about it. Because to get from here to wherever there is, wherever that picture is in your mind, the goal process is critical for you. Statistically, Harvard Business Study, very, very interesting stat. They did this massive study of people that graduated from their MBA program, all right? 3% of their graduates from the MBA program who had their goals written down ended up earning 10 times as much money as the other 97% put together. Because they'd written the goals down, they knew strategically what they wanted to do, and they knew how to get from where they were to where they wanted to be. 10 times the amount of the other 97% of all of those other graduates put together. All right? Huge. All of the research, and I won't go into all of the stats and all of those things, but all of the research, all of the statistics show us beyond the shadow of a doubt that the people who set goals, write them down, plan them out, and work towards them achieve vastly more than those who have no goals whatsoever. So your chance of really succeeding in this business or in whatever that vision or dream is for yourself is going to rapidly increase and massively and exponentially grow beyond what anybody else is going to do who doesn't do it, right? So the goals are huge. So before we get to the specific planning of it, here's one of the most critical things you have to get to the bottom of is why. So before you start setting the goals, before you start writing things out, why are you even, what's your big why? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? We go back to the wedding. That's a big why, right? That's life. That's our marriage. That's our future. This is a celebration of all the cool things that we want to do to get our life going together, right? That's a huge why. For some of you, in your personal business, in your relationships, the why is going to drive everything else. Without understanding what that is, all of the other goals will fall easily to the wayside, all right? So everything in my goals is driven by a giant why in my life. And here it is. I'll just tell it to you very simply. I want my life 100% to honor God, and I want to leave a legacy for my family. So I want everything that I do in the context of my business to honor God and to leave a legacy for my family. So every goal that I have goes toward that. All the other little goals, they're the ones that fall off if they don't match and fall under that. So understanding what's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the drive behind it? Before you start setting goals and driving down into some of the principles we're going to talk about in a minute, I'm going to encourage you to really get down underneath. Why do I want to do it? Why do I want to get to where I want to do? What's that thing in my gut that if I don't get this settled and if I don't get to that place, I'm not going to be right? What's the thing that's driving you? What's the big why? All right? From there then, let's talk about goals. So I'm going to get real specific with you. I handed out a sheet. You can take some notes on it, scribble on it, scratch on it, whatever you want to do. But it's going to sort of set a framework for some of these key things, all right, in terms of goals. Here's number one. Where do you start with goals? There's a couple of acronyms that are out there in the business world, in the planning world. They've been around for a while. That helped you to sort of go, if I'm going to write a goal, how do I do it? Like, how do I write a goal and how do I put a goal down on paper? What do I need to do to make a specific goal that's going to get me from here to there? Right? The quickest and simplest acronym is setting a SMART goal. The SMART stands for these 5 things together. And again, you can write these down. You can go online. You can see all these things. This is well documented kind of stuff for goal setting. Number one is that your goal has to be specific. All right? Has to be specific. Whatever you guys are going to do when it comes to setting goals, make sure that they're specific. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the first quarter. That's a specific goal. It's not, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to lose some weight, right? That's just random. That's out there. There's nothing specified about it. I want to increase my business production. I want to increase my transactions this year. Not specific. Last year I did 20 transactions. This year I want to do 30 transactions, right? That's a very specific goal that you can have. The more specific your goal, the more detailed it is in your mind, the more clearly that you've laid it out in its specificity, the greater chance you have of achieving it, all right? Number two, it's got to be measurable. It's got to be something that you can do. That was a perfect goal in the back. What's your name in the back?
Me?
Yeah.
No, John.
John.
Yeah.
Perfect goal, right? Our goal is in this amount of time, we want to save 10,000 bucks. That's measurable. You get to 9,000, you have not reached your goal, right? We only got to 8, we got to 12, whatever it was, that's measurable. So whatever it is that you're going to do, whatever goal you're going to set, make sure that has some measuring value to it, right? X to Y. How are you going to do it? Time sensitive. Here's the next one. It's got to be achievable. Has to be something achievable. It's very interesting. Statistics show in all of the studies on setting goals that a goal that is way out of reach, and I'm all for setting big, you maybe have heard the term BHAG, right? A big, hairy, audacious goal, like setting something that's way off the moon, like you're just going to, like this is, if I could get to there, it would be amazing, and you're setting yourself, we would encourage you, I would encourage you, man, set your goal high. Don't miss out on setting something high. If you set your goal low and the bar's real super low, that's not a real goal. But it also has to be something for you that's achievable, right? I want to do 100 transactions this year, but I'm brand new in the business. Maybe not achievable right now where you're starting from, right? I want to make $1 million this year, all right? Okay, well that means you have to do about 80 to 90 million dollars in real estate production in your first year of business or your fifth year of it. That might be achievable, but maybe not right now. So what's achievable for you? What's going to push you? But what is something also that's realistic in terms of your ability to actually get it done, right? That's number 3. Here's number 4, relevant. This is all where it ties back to your dream, your vision. Where is it that you want to go? It has to be relevant to you, to your circumstance, to your stage of life, to where it is that you're driving, to what it is that you want. It has to be relevant to you specifically. One of the greatest dangers is that you would set a goal that isn't directly tied to yourself, that's tied to someone else's dream, right? Or someone else's vision, or something that somebody else wants to get done or accomplish. Make sure that it's relevant for you. And then here's the next one, the final one on that, is that it's time bound. I want to do X by Y, 10 grand by the first quarter, right? 10 pounds by the summer. Like by this time, boom, here it is. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to get accomplished. I want to get the garden planted before the weather gets to this point, which is this date, right? Boom. Time sensitive in everything you do. Michael Hyatt, who's a great business leader, business coach, business trainer. If you've never heard of Michael Hyatt, I would encourage you to tap into him, get on the internet, and read some of his stuff. Michael Hyatt expands the SMART acronym to SMARTER. All right, and so he does SMARTER, and he changes things up just a little bit. Here's some of the things that he says as he's coached thousands of people in the business leadership world. Number 1, specific, right? Not general or vague, measurable. He changes the A from achievable to action-oriented. He says that your goal has to have movement behind it. It's got to be action-oriented. This is something where it's going to move me to go from this point to that point, right? Then he says relevant, time, start and end. And then his last 2 are this. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be something that gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you moving and gets you going, right? Some people don't want to do anything in the context of what they've set out in terms of their goals. There's no motivation for them. There's no excitement for them. If I never got this done, it wouldn't matter, right? It's got to be something that's motivating to you and encouraging to you, something that is energizing and exciting for you to get done, right? And then here's the last one. He would say is risky. Something that pushes you beyond your comfort zone, right? Beyond where you're comfortable. The only way you're going to grow is if you say, hey, I want to go from here to there. But if I said to you today, hey, I did 12 transactions last year, 1 transaction a month. Next year, I'm shooting for the moon, 13. Right? 13 transactions, man. I'm going to push myself. There's no risk in that. But to say I want to double my production next year, I'm going to go from 12 transactions to 24 transactions. I want to go from $4 million to $8 million in production. Whatever it is that you want to do, there's some risk involved in that. That means you have to take some chances. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go and interview some people, learn some new skills, break the model that you're currently using in order to get from there to there. There's risk involved in that. So that smarter goal, when you're laying out a goal, when you sit down to write it, how are you going to get there? I would encourage you, just work through the acronym. It's really, really simple, right? Set the goals, write them down. That's where you start. If you've never been a goal setter, it's an easy way just to remember, how do I set a SMART goal and get from this point to that point, all right? Now, once you've gotten that, once you're there, know that, let me outline a goal-setting process for you. Some of you are not this way. Some of you are like type A, like you're going to get this done, you don't even need this, right? But some of you, your temperament, your personality is different. Here's a way to outline this for yourself, all right? Number 1 is write it. So whatever you're going to do, whatever goals you're going to set, however it is that you're going to process down the line in terms of your goals, here's the thing you have to do. Physically write the goal down. Don't type it. Don't type it out on the computer. Actually get a pen or a pencil, sit down and write the goal. You can go back and put it on computer later, but the actual physical act of writing it creates a neural pathway between your hand and your brain, and it solidifies what it is that you want to do. The research study, Dr. Gail Matthews from Dominican University did a study on this, and here's what she found. That writing your goals, actually going through the process of writing them down, actually increases the probability of you achieving the goal by 40%. 40%. So take the goal, write it down.
That's where the vision comes, the vision board.
Vision board, great, absolutely, right. You got to take that goal, but you have to physically write it. So in the process of you doing what it is that you're doing, I want to encourage you, when you're sitting down to do goals, write it. Get a piece of paper. That's why I've given you this sheet. I'm going to challenge you when we leave here today to go through an exercise, right? And one of those things is to actually physically write it down. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the first quarter. That was my goal. That's one of Jeff Miles' own personal goals, right? I'm almost 50, and weight doesn't just come off me anymore like it used to. Funny about that, right? I had a personal goal, like I got to keep my health, I got to keep myself in shape because I have a legacy that I want to create for my family, and I want to stay in good physical shape for my kids and for my grandkids. I want to be able to move through life. So I want to stay as physically healthy as I possibly can. Massive goal for me, right? So I'm going to keep that in mind. But writing that down was huge because I could say it up here, and I've said that a million times in my brain. Writing it down did something different for me, okay? Number 1, write it down. Here's a couple examples. A transactional goal, financial goal, prospecting goal, right? Write it down, whatever you're going to do, but don't do too many. Don't do 10, 15, 20 goals, right? Research shows statistically that a few achievable goals that you have clearly written out and have a strategic plan to accomplish allows you to stay focused and has greater success in getting those goals done. You can always add more. Right? You can always add more, but make sure that the ones you do have are very specific and you've got a clear outline for them. Here's the second part of it. So if you're writing it, then you're going to plan it. So now take it and go all the way down into the nitty-gritty. If you were using that worksheet that I gave you, what are the next steps? What are the action steps? What are the specific things that you need to do? What is it going to take specifically to accomplish your goal? Right? If we go back to if we go back to Lisa, I want more water and less wine. Okay, specifically, what does it take to do more water and less wine? Right? How do I specifically get to that? What do I need to do? Right? When I set the goal of accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish on certain things, I had to get very specific. What were the next things? And you don't have to know the roadmap to get all of it done all the way to the very end, but you have to know specifically what you're going to do to get to the next possible step. in everything that you want to accomplish. All right? What do you need to read? What do you need to buy? What do you need to invest in? Who do you need to take to lunch? You need to talk to another agent who's at the next level, right? You need to get that subscription. You need to buy that CRM. You need to, whatever it is that you need to do, you need to get those new clothes, that new wardrobe, join that gym. You know, whatever it is you got to do, write it down specifically. How much money do you need to get to accomplish what it is that you need to accomplish? All right? Understand all of that. Write it down. Make sure that's clear in your mind. That gives you then easy, actionable steps that you can break down day by day that you can take to get to your goal. All right? Here's the next one. Share it. So you've written the goal down, you've broken down some steps, and then share it. Right? One of the most significant things that will help you to accomplish what it is that you want to get to and get to your dream is to share your dream with other people. Now, you'll hear Chuck and Angela talk about this all the time, so let me re-emphasize something they say constantly. Share your dreams and your goals with the people who you know will help you achieve them. Do not share those dreams and goals with the people who are going to distract you, tear you down, tell you you can't do it, the people who are going to discourage you, the people who are going to push you towards things that are negative in your mindset. Be around the people that are going to really help to push you up and up through what it is that you want to accomplish. And do it with the people who you know are going to be honest with you. When I was in 8th grade, I had a PE teacher. He was actually a history teacher and a PE teacher at my junior high school. And his name was Mr. Moda. And I was an athlete, and I had some very specific goals athletically, even when I was in junior high. There were some things that I wanted to accomplish. And Mr. Moda was like one of my favorite teachers, and I sort of got to be buddy-buddy with him, and we sort of built this relationship with one another. And there was a specific class that as an 8th grader you could take. It was called PE2. There's PE1, then there was PE2. You had to get selected to be in PE2. And so when I got selected to be in PE2, I was like stoked, right? And I got to be in there, and we did all these crazy things and crazy games, and just the stuff that you didn't get to do in the normal PE class. He sort of made it advanced. It was for a select group of people, and it was a lot of fun. We used to play this game called War Ball. Much like dodgeball, it essentially was a ball for every person and no rules. Like that was sort of it, right? And one day in 8th grade, I thought I was so cool and I was all that. And one of the things that I did in that stage of my life was I cussed all the time. Because cussing was like the cool thing to do, right? So we're in PE class and I get beamed because we're playing War Ball, and I get beamed, cracked, by some kid who chucks a ball at me, and I just let out this string of expletives. And in the midst of that, Mr. Moda says to me, "Mile, next time I hear anything like that, it's 2. Now, for those of you in my generation, 2 in that day meant 2. With the paddle hanging in the coach's office, with the holes drilled in it. 2, right on the butt, like cracked. And I was like, ha, all right, yeah, whatever. Cool. We go on playing the game. Sure enough, I get beamed again. Sure enough. Out come the words. He goes, "Mile, let's go." And everybody's like, ooh, right? It's all boys. We go into the gym. Mr. Moda goes into the coach's office. The glass wall into the coach's office. All the paddles hanging on the wall where all the kids have signed them, right? They're just hanging there. He picks one off the wall, comes out, and I'm like, the whole time, like, he's not going to do it. I'm his favorite boy. Like, there's no way that this is going to happen, right? He goes, "Let's go, buddy." Remember the locker rooms? The lockers, got the big cement aisle, the lockers down both sides. All the guys in the PE class standing on the sides of the locker, just like this, looking down at me. He goes, "All right, Mile, bend over." So I did. And sure enough, man, Mr. Moda came back and gave me one. And in all of my 8th grade wisdom, I said these words to Mr. Moda. "What's the matter, old man? Can't you hit any harder than that?" He could. Right? And he cracked back that paddle, and he cracked me one so hard, and literally all I did was and I just walked right out the door. Like, done, PE class, the bell had rung. And the word spread fast, right, about what had happened in PE class. Here's the reason I share that story with you. I loved that guy. I loved him as a teacher. And what I can tell you is he loved me. Now, he did what he needed to do in order to keep me on track, because I had a squirrely side, right? I had a side that wanted to go down all the wrong roads and do all the things that I shouldn't do. And Mr. Moto was like, nah, we're not doing that, right? This is where you're going. This is where your life is heading, and we're going to make sure that your life stays on track in the midst of that. So here's what I want to say to you about the discipline of your goals. Who's going to help keep you on track for real? Because you can set all the goals you want. You can write all the goals down that you want. You can put all kinds of things and create vision boards and put up goals and write them down and put them in front where they're supposed to be. But if you never share that with anybody else who's willing to walk through life with you and say, nope, that's not where we're going. For me, that's my wife. For me, that's some of my closest friends. And they're going to go, hey, we don't do that. That's not where we're going. That's not where we're heading. That's not where life is taking us, right? That's not the path that we're on. This is where we're going. Who's going to do that for you? That's a deep question, right? Super, super deep question, all right? So think through that. Keep that in mind. Here's the last one. Review it. So in your plan of making goals, right, you're going to write it down. You're going to plan it out. You're going to share it with someone who's going to hold you accountable, walk with you, do that goal with you, whatever it is that's going to be there to support you in the midst of it. And then the last thing is review it. Your goal has to be in a place where you're constantly going to come back to it and look at it. If you write it down, you put it on your computer, or do whatever you do, and then you shove it in a drawer, and you never come back to it, and you never see it, it's easy for it to fall away and just to disappear, all right? So put it someplace where you can review it every day. You should review your goals every single day at some point. Morning, night, both, right? Those are my rituals. In the morning I read it, and in the evening I read it. Keeps my mindset, keeps my heart, keeps my mind on track, right? Put your goals where you can see them. Post them up in your office. Stick them on your sticky note on your car. Make them the screensaver on your phone. Whatever it is you're going to do, put your goals where you can see them. A lack of visibility leads to a lack of achievement, right? So lack of visibility leads to a lack of achievement. Make sure your goals are where you can see them. Review them, if not every day, once a week. Review them again every month. Review them again every quarter. That's why I want to encourage you today. You're coming to the end of the quarter. If you set goals and you have a time marker to get it done in the first quarter, or by the end of the second quarter, or by the end of the year, where are you at? You're one quarter into the year this year. Where are you at? Are you meeting your projection? What needs to be adjusted? What do you need to fix? Right? What do you need to now add to it? What's the next step in the goal? The review process is what keeps you on track in everything that you're doing. All right? That mere practice of just continually coming back to stuff is what keeps you going and what keeps you on track. All right? Makes sense? Okay, cool. How are we on time? Am I good?
You have 17 minutes.
Okay, awesome. All right, and I'm a good preacher, so I'm going to take all of it. Plus 5. All right, so here we go. Once you've settled on all that, once you've got all that down, you're on a good path. Okay? You're on a good path to start achieving some real things and getting yourself closer to the vision or whatever else is in your mind that you're trying to accomplish. Whatever the vision, the dream, the goal, the legacy, whatever it is you want to do, you're on the right path. And if you'll stick to that cycle, you'll be great. Here's the other side of the coin, right? And here's what I want to finish up just talking about today. There are some major threats to you accomplishing what you want to accomplish. Some huge threats in getting you down the road. Big things that will keep you actually from getting to where it is that you want to go. So just as much as the planning and the achievement of your goals requires your attention, so does your mindset in regards to the things that could detract you and that could take you away from getting to where it is that you want to go. All right? Here's the challenge in that, is it requires you to be emotionally intelligent. It requires you to ask some difficult questions of yourself. Because the dream, if you really want to get there, and it's worth getting to, is going to require you some emotional energy to really think about it and to really dream. Like, it's that thing, right, that comes from your pit and it comes from your gut, and you want to get there, and you're going to get there, and that's where it is that you want to head, and you know that when you're there, the vision of that brings something to you. But it takes just as much emotional energy to make sure that it doesn't get sidetracked. takes emotional energy and emotional honesty to ask yourself some difficult questions and to have some honesty with yourself about the things that would keep you from getting to where you're going. So as you start into the exercise of setting goals, maybe you're just brand new into this business and you're like, I want to really set some goals. Maybe you've been in this business for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years and you want to take your business to a whole new level, right? Whatever that is, as you set those goals, I want you to think carefully about the other side of the coin. So here's some things I want to challenge you to be aware of, all right? Number one of the biggest roadblocks to you achieving your goals is fear. It's fear. What are you afraid of? What are the things that would keep you in your own heart, in your own emotions, from really accomplishing what it is? What are the things that you're scared to death of, right? What are those fears? Here's number two, a lack of discipline. Just a lack of discipline in your life. I am addicted to mediocrity. Like, I'm a goal setter, I'm a goal achiever, and like I love to push myself and I love to do things and I love to get things done. But there is a piece of my soul that is addicted to laziness and nothing. Like, I can binge watch with the best of them. I can flush an entire weekend down the drain on Netflix, just like anybody else can, right? I don't want to do that with my life. So I have to be very cautious with the areas of my life where I have a severe lack of discipline, and I know that those things can just wash over me and detract me from the things I really want to do. Where's the lack of discipline in your life? Where's it like, nope, I just let it go. Okay? Here's the next one. A lack of accountability. We already touched on it. But if you're unwilling to be accountable to anybody else, you got to deal with that. You got to ask yourself the question, why am I unwilling to submit myself to somebody else's authority or to some other coaching or to some form of accountability in order to take myself to the next level? Those are actually the things that can actually be the greatest leveraging points for you. People that will hold you genuinely accountable, people that will genuinely, invest in you. But if you're afraid to do that, or if you won't submit yourself to that, why not? Why not? Deal with that question. Answer that question in your heart, okay? Here's the next one. This is big. This requires some real emotional depth for you. Self-sabotage. What is it where you believe somehow in your heart that you're not actually worthy of that goal? If you've never listened to Tim and Julie Harris, they're real estate coaches. They have a daily radio program called Real Estate Coaching Radio. If you've never listened to them, I would encourage you to at least download a couple of their podcasts and listen to them. One of the things that they talk about consistently over and over is when they started in the business and they began to grow in their business, they became very successful very quickly, selling millions and millions of dollars, then got into the coaching business. And what they realized as they began to coach people is that people were actually afraid of their own success. They were afraid to actually achieve something big in their life because they didn't believe somehow that they were actually worthy of that. So then they start to sabotage their own achievement. How is it that you might be doing that? If you believe in the dream and the goal and it's worthy of setting down all of the actionable steps to get you there and that the end result will be amazing for you, what are the things that might come along that would sabotage all of that for you? Right? What would you do to your own self to sidetrack that in you? All right? That's number 4. Here's number 5. The voices, the thoughts, the opinions of other people. You can't do that. Are you sure you can do that? That seems awfully big. Why do you want to go into real estate? Why do you want to try to get that done? Like, there's any number of excuses, any number of things that other people want to put on you. You have to be very careful of those things detracting from where it is you want to go. All right? Here's the next one. Failure. Failure. You're going to fail. Sometimes failure, though, becomes the thing that just totally blocks us, right? You never set a goal before. You're going to set a goal. You're going to go for it. You map out the steps. And then step number 3, it all comes crashing down. Boom, you hit the roadblock. You failed. You tried it. It didn't work. And now what am I going to do? Right? And at that point, it's either I'm going to push through this or I'm going to quit. And so sometimes dealing with the failure is one of the greatest things you can do. Do not see failure as a means, as the way that things are going to end for you. See it as a means to your success. What are you going to learn from it? How are you going to grow from it? If you have a failure mindset where if it just didn't go right the first time, then you got to go the other direction. I have one of my sons, all my kids are grown, and one of my sons, this is one of his things. And we've coached him since he was the time he was young, through his teenage years. Now he's just about ready to graduate from college in a month. And we've had to coach him. He came up against a massive failure right at the end of his senior year of college. And his mindset has been radically different about it than it's been at any other point in his life. Now he's looking for different options. He's looking for ways to get around it, ways to accomplish and to get over that hurdle of that particular failure. It was just one little thing, one little setback, but sometimes in his past that would have been the thing where he just went, nah, forget it. Right? And maybe that's you. Right? What are the failures that would sidetrack you from accomplishing your goals? All right? Here's the next one, just mediocrity. We've already talked about that. Mediocrity. Sometimes we're just addicted to it. Right? Mediocrity keeps you where you're at and keeps you from setting goals at all, because goals will take you to a new place and a new level. And it's way easier to be at the status quo. Right? Here's the next one. Excuses. What are your excuses? Your individual, personal excuses where you say, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough, not fast enough, whatever it is. Don't have the business savvy. I'm not really a salesperson. I can't really achieve that kind of goal. I've never been in the business before long enough. I've never run what are your excuses that you're setting out in front of you that are sabotaging your goal before you even get a chance to make it happen and get to the vision and the reality of what you really want to get to? All right? You just don't want to do it. There's the next one. I just don't want to set goals, right? Statistics show that if you don't want to set them and you don't want to do it, that you're probably going to end up just being right where you're at right now. That very few things that are of great achievement come without the successful setting of goals and following through on it, right? Here's the next one. You don't see the importance of setting the goals. You just don't see it. Here's the next one. Drift. This is why I encourage you to review. Go back to your reviewing every day, because life happens, right? You're cruising along, you're really making it on your goal. This just happened to me on my weight loss goal. It's cruising along, and I just went on a trip to Costa Rica at an all-inclusive resort where all the food and all the drink and all the stuff was great. And then when I came back, guess what happened? I spent another week on an all-inclusive island at my house, right? Still doing everything was still all-inclusive, right? And it didn't include exercise, and it didn't include the proper diet, and it didn't include the right mindset, and it's just easy to drift, right? It's just like the boat. You untie the boat from the dock, and it'll stay close to the dock for a little bit, but then over time, it's going to start to drift off. It's the same thing with your goals. If you don't review them and you don't stay connected to them, you're just going to drift off of them, right? And then maybe the last excuse is this. It's just not my personality. It's just not my temperament. I'm not an A-type person. I'm not a driver. Whatever that excuse would be, that's just not me. Anybody can set goals, and anybody can achieve at a high level. In fact, you'll be surprised at how high you can go the more you start setting goals and start achieving them, right? Here's my challenge as we finish up together today. I want to challenge you to set aside some time in your business. Sometime this week, before you get to the fourth quarter, to take a few hours. If you're like me, life is busy, right? You got wife, spouse, kids, t-ball, work, business, real estate, listings, sales, buyers, sellers, whatever it is that you've got going on in your life, life is busy, okay? But here's the reality. If you don't take the time to work on your business and you're only working in your business, then you will never have the opportunity to see your business get to where you want it to go. So I want to challenge you to take some time this week, even just a couple of hours. Block out the time, tell everybody else, hey, I got an appointment I got to go to. It's an appointment with yourself. Go somewhere by yourself. Sit down in an office, in a coffee shop, with a glass of beer, whatever you need to do, and think through what it is that you want to accomplish. Process through just a couple of goals, whether they're for the year, for the next quarter, for the next 6 months, for your business, for your personal life, for your relationships, whatever it is you want to focus on, and write it out. Spend the time thinking about it, processing it. Create the margin for yourself so that your mind can be free to go through it. Turn your phone off while you're doing it. Shut down your computer. just a pen and a notepad, a piece of paper, yellow pad, whatever you use, and get down to business with it, all right? Once you do that, the next challenge is to actually share that with someone, set the goals in place, and see what it is that you can accomplish, all right? We are huge believers here at Revelation of you being professional agents, of being the very, very best that you can be. Chuck and Angela are constantly sharing with us about how focused and how great life can be for us if we keep our mind and our heart in the right place. They do a tremendous job. I owe a great debt to them for just the things that they have taught me since I've come into the business, and listening to them and watching their example. Get around other people who are going to help you in the achievement of what you want to do. Don't do it alone, all right? Stay connected with the culture. Meet new people around the office. Get connected with a group, a team, a partner, somebody who can help you accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. And we're going to see great things come out of it, all right? That, my friends, is all I have. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you guys. And
Good morning, everybody. Just some weekly announcements. The office is closed this Friday, so just for you guys' info. Also, some events coming up that we have going on. Next Saturday, April 7th, is our Family Fun and Community Day. So invite your clients, their friends, their families. There's going to be like a bounce house for children, bubble machine, face painting, and then all different types of vendors geared towards homeowner clients so that the parents can do some shopping while the kids have fun. And then of course we have happy hour every Friday night, free wood-fired pizza, happy hour drinks, lots of fun. And then on April 20th, we have Quarter Mania, which is really great because it's for a really good cause. And if you want any more information about that, you can totally contact Debbie St. Germain or myself if you have any questions. Thank you so much and have a great day.